Welcome back to the program. So last night was definitely good for people challenging, in the primaries, challenging the incumbents, and we got rid of Eye Patch McCain. Of course, we got rid of Jazzy Crockett. We got rid of a couple of others as well, and now we have Ken Paxton in a runoff against John Cornyn. But I want to stop right there for a second, because President Trump said something today that everybody should be very worried about. He said that he's going to make a decision in the next day or so on whether to endorse Ken Paxton, which should be a no-brainer, or Rhino John Cornyn. Then he said that he will ask the other one to step out of the race. Now, I understand that part, because the Democrat obviously is this Tallarico idiot who thinks that, I don't know, God is non-binary and Jesus is a feminist and, trans people need abortion. I mean, this guy's absolutely radical extreme. He comes off as trying to not be extreme, but he's, of course, very, very extreme. Just would have been extreme as Jazzy Crockett. So he has to go down in flames. He's another Beto O'Rourke or worse. Okay, and by the way, Beto endorsed him. So I understand why he says one needs to get out, because if you don't, you got a problem. You're going to have a situation, which is exactly what happened with Wesley Hunt. I like him, good, great patriot conservative. But if you took what Wesley Hunt got, which I think was 12%, and then you add that to what Ken Paxton had, and if you would have taken his vote and split it, because not all Wesley Hunt voters were going to vote for Ken Paxton, very few, but some were probably going to vote for Cornyn. So I would say take it and split it 8-4. Give 8% more to Ken Paxton if he wasn't in the race, not Ken Paxton, if Wesley Hunt wasn't in the race, hopefully you're following me, and give the other 4%. Remember, Wesley Hunt had about 12%. Give the other 4% to John Cornyn. And guess what? If Wesley Hunt was not in the race, then Ken Paxton would have won handedly and beat the Rhino. But Wesley Hunt decided to run and be in there, and of course he split the vote. And it happens all the time, sadly. So now President Trump is going to make a decision. Now, I put out a warning to President Trump, and I told him, MAGA is not going to show up to vote for another rhino, okay? We have an opportunity to get rid of a rhino in John Cornyn. We don't want him. We want Ken Paxton. So President Trump, and I reached out to a lot of people, and I said point blank, this is a warning to you. If you endorse John Cornyn, we're going to lose the Texas seat, because MAGA's probably going to stay home. I said, if you endorse the one that is definitely going to win statewide in Texas, which is Ken Paxton, and you can tell John Cornyn to go fly a kite because he's John Thune's butt buddy, then you're going to win Texas. It's just that simple. So we'll see what he does. But anyway, it was a good night overall for the primaries. Now, I have some more good news. And before I get into it, let me give you a little explanation, as I like to do. So these judges, these judicial gnats, as I like to call them, right? You've got judges that interfere, and then you have courts that don't listen to judges. Now, let me break this down for you. A lot of times, good judges, not bad judges, but good judges, will say that this person who's wanted for whatever crime is an illegal alien, and therefore I'm signing off on their deportation. Good judge, not a bad judge. So then what happens? That good judge says these people need to be removed, right? Removals from the country, and it goes to a bad court judge. And the bad court judge says, I don't care what the immigration judge says. I'm not going to send him home. I'm going to let him back out on the street so he can go out and murder and rape and pillage some more, because he hasn't killed enough American citizens yet. Okay? Well, guess what? That is over. That's right, 100%. Not only is it over, it's a unanimous Supreme Court decision. And check this out. The woman who doesn't even know what a woman is wrote the majority opinion. That's right, you heard that correctly. The U.S. Supreme Court just handed Trump a massive, unanimous win on immigration with the opinion authored by Justice Jackson, which is shocking, absolutely shocking. The U.S. Supreme Court does not reach unanimous decisions very often, especially when it comes to something to do with President Trump, but it did happen today. The nation's highest court just ruled in President Trump's favor on immigration and immigration judges, saying that federal courts must defer to rulings by immigration judges. The decision will now make it almost impossible for these courts to abuse the asylum system. And the opinion on this decision was even written by Justice Ketanji Brown. I have no idea what a woman is, Jackson. Justice Brown Jackson authored the Supreme Court's unanimous ruling Wednesday, ordering federal appeals courts to defer to immigration judges when reviewing asylum decisions, bolstering the executive branch's authority in immigration cases and handing the Trump administration a huge win as it pushes on its aggressive deportation agenda. Jackson, of course, a Dementia Joe appointee or AutoPen appointee, that's another story we don't have time to get to, and one of 3 liberal justices on the High Court, wrote that immigration laws require federal courts to use a substantial, evidence-based standard when reviewing immigration judges and their decisions about whether an asylum seeker could face persecution if deported. Jackson emphasized the high bar courts must meet before overturning an immigration judge's findings, potentially making it much more difficult for migrants to challenge their deportations as the Trump administration cracks down on illegal immigration. The agency's determination is generally conclusive unless any reasonable adjudicator would be compelled to conclude to the contrary, Jackson wrote. So this is an absolutely shocking decision. Now, it's not a shocking decision from the standpoint of the Supreme Court. It's a shocking decision that the majority opinion was written by, without a doubt, the most liberal justice on the court, who, by the way, shouldn't even be on the court because she's not legitimately put on the court, but that's an argument for another day. So this is going to help in a major way, because what this does is it smacks down those damn judicial gnats. That's what it does. So when a good immigration judge says, well, hey, this guy, he's a legal alien, he robbed a bank, he raped a woman, he shot somebody, he did it, I'm signing, he's out, he's gone. In the past, these left-wing, radical, extreme judges that want open borders would go, I don't care what the immigration judge said, I'm not going to deport him. In fact, I might even take him and hide him in the back, a la whatever that idiot's name was in Wisconsin that was charged for obstruction, right? Hiding the illegal alien. Well, here we are now in a situation where the judicial gnats are getting swatted down, exactly as I said they would. So the Supreme Court just helped tremendously the Trump administration when it comes to immigration. Because now you're not going to have, when the judge says this person needs to go, now you cannot make your own choice. Now you have to abide by the immigration judge's recommendation. There's no more wiggle room anymore. This is a huge decision, folks. And what this is going to do is it's going to empower the administration to deport more people a lot faster. Okay? This is wonderful. I am shocked that Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote the opinion on this. I am really shocked. I thought this would have been a Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, Roberts, Kavanaugh, somebody other than her. I never in a million years. We were playing bingo and you were like, okay, here's the decision. It's a unanimous decision. And which judge on the court do you think wrote the majority decision? I'm losing my shirt because I'm going to say, number one, Samuel Alito. My second choice would probably be Clarence Thomas. My third choice would probably be Gorsuch. My fourth choice would have been Brett Kavanaugh. My fifth choice would have been Roberts. And my sixth choice would have been Barrett. My seventh choice would have been, she's the most conservative of the three, Sonia Sotomayor, if that's even considered conservative. Elena Kagan would have been eighth. And yes, Ketanji, I have no idea what a woman is. Jackson would have been my ninth choice. So this is pretty incredible stuff. So wanted to bring all of that to your attention. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.